Hello, welcome to Krafting Kitty. My name is Erin. It's Saturday, which means it's time for my weekly roundup. Yay! Can't believe I said it the first time without seeing it. That's weird. What is my weekly roundup? Well, on Saturdays, I go through my week in crafting. We talk about any WIPs, works in progress, or FOs, finished objects I might have. We also talk about the book I am reading. So let's hop right on in. Thought I finished another project. Where are you? Oh, right here. Okay. So I did a little bit of stuff on my Addy. I had some red yarn left over, and then I had a little bit of this like taupe and cream. So I kind of knit up this child, this very small toddler, probably beanie, double layer beanie. I think it's awfully cute. I hope some child likes it. And then I had some ice cream divigations yarn left, and I thought I'll just whip something up. And in my head this was going to be a hat, but when I cast it off, it didn't look right. So now I'm thinking it's like a little pouch. And Bingo likes it, so she'll have some awesome time with it, and we'll see what she makes it. I kind of think it might end up as like a baby doll sleeping bag, which sounds pretty fun. Ryan's texting me. He's out looking for some storage solutions we were talking about. And then, so I made those two hats on the Addy, and I did say last week my goal was to finish my hat with the Artist's Palette. Or is it just Artist Palette? Artist Palette Mary Maxim yarn. And I, in fact, did that. I was using US 5 knitting needles. And I'm done with that bag. Put it back in. Here it is. So this is doubled up. So I think it's a really great size for a kiddo scarf. And it's actually not too bad for a short adult scarf. Like if you just wanted that little scarf that kind of just tucks in the top of your coat or whatever, I think this would be perfect. But I am going to flag it right now as a child size scarf and see what kind of set I can put together for donation with it. Like I said last year, I think I accidentally donated the hat I already made with this yarn. So maybe if I just whip up a white one, it'll look nice and make a little set. Or I can just donate it as a scarf as is. Who knows? Who knows? But another label to put into my collection. And then the final finished object I have is the giraffe. So I have finished Chomp's giraffe. I added all of the spots, his little yellow snout. And I kind of like that he went with a yellow snout. Like, it kind of brightens the whole thing up. The ears, I'm not happy with. I'm not sure what I did wrong, but they feel incorrect. I think they look cute. Chomps is in love with it, and that's really all that matters. It's got a cute little tail. But yeah, I think I'm learning a lot. The horns look different. This one is overstuffed. So that's that. Maybe this one's slightly understuffed as well. It's all a learning game. It's all, I'm figuring it out as I go. So this was, so far the things I've shown have not had patterns except for this one. I mean, they have a pattern. I just made it up off the top of my head. This is from Crochet Cute Critters by Sarah Zimmerman. It was Ginger the Giraffe. Up next for Bingo is Henrietta the Hippo. She has already picked the yarn. I just have to pull it out. I have some leftover of the teal. It's kind of light blue teal carousel twist from Loops and Threads. She would like that. So I think that is a thicker 4-weight yarn, so we might end up with a slightly bigger hippo. That's okay. I'm excited that she wants to use that yarn because hopefully that finishes up what I have and gets it out of ye old stash. Okay, so like I said, that's what I have for finished objects. I think it's pretty good. I also worked on washcloths for things we're making Thursday, but you saw that yesterday. what else have I done? I have worked on my Aberdeen Wool's Pickle Jar Cowl from the Pickle Jar Cowl kit. I did finish that kind of steel blue, steel gray color, and I think it looks really nice with the others kind of working in. And here is the whole thing. I did get a question about the Pickle Jar Cowl. It is just stockinette in the round, so it's all just continuous knitting. You're just knitting. There is no reason, if you wanted to, you couldn't do it flat panel. It is, I think, in it. So this is going to end up as a tube here, and I'm going to sew it together like this. So it's going to end up as a double layer. If you didn't want it as a double layer, you can certainly do it single layer. I think if you don't knit and you just wanted to crochet it, you could totally still do the kit, and you could do it either way. If you wanted to work it in the round and just do single crochets, I think that would be beautiful. It's a lot of single crochets if you were going to do single crochets. Single crochets, I think, you know, well, I guess other than a slip stitch, is the kind of the smallest crochet stitch, probably closest to a regular knit stitch, but nothing stops you from doing whatever you want. I think you could do this all around in half doubles. You could do it all around in any stitch you wanted, whatever kind of suits your fancy. I think it would look super cool with moss stitch. I think that would look really nice. But yeah, I totally think if you like the look of this and wanted something but you only crochet, I think you could totally do it. Of course, it's gonna look like crochet and not look like knit because it's a different craft, but you'd get the same effect. You'd get a really fun, brightly multicolored scarf at the end, and I think it would be fabulous. Like I said, my plan is to do this, which is the original project, and then they sent a second project, which is a bias scarf, and I'd like to try that. Maybe if I finish those two and I'm still loving it, maybe I'll pick up another one and try a crochet version. Why the heck not? Whatever trips your trigger and makes you excited, do it. This is the simplest knit stitch. And if you're not comfortable just knitting in the round and you don't like it, you can totally do it flat panel. You can totally do it flat and have just a single layer scarf. You could either keep it about the same width and just half the stitches that you cast on. If you do that, remember your edges are going to curl. So you're either going to have to be okay with a curling edge or put sort of a border on it, a ribbed border, just a garter stitch border. For this scarf, like this would totally work. This would look really cool. What I did was 10 stitch border here in the garter stitch. This is all stockinette over 20 stitches, and this is another 10 stitches in garter stitch to finish it off. So what this is, I worked this flat panel. So the garter stitch is knit every row for those 10 stitches, and then this part is knit right side, purl wrong side for these. I'm holding my hand down here like you can see it. These 20 stitches, knit right side, purl wrong side, and then the last 20 stitches is just knit every round. That would look really cool, and it makes a border so it stops it from curling in. Brian has texted me, one second. Okay, so pickle jar, the pickle jar of fate. We shall pick the next entrant to the scarf. What's it gonna be? What do you think? What's it gonna be? Get your hand in the jar, Erin. Grab something. I got one. Ooh, very pretty. Lighter pinks and purples. Here you go. It's still trying to focus on my face. There we go. Beautiful. That is going to be lovely. I think that's going to go very well with that kind of steely gray color. I mean, the steely gray is such a good neutral. It's going to look very pretty. There you go. And it's going to brighten it back up. We've kind of had a dark moment here, and we're going to get brighter again. Love it! We'll set that back there so we can work on that next. Also, big news on that. That's supposed to be 40 minis. I just added my 20th, so should be half done. That's amazing. I'm so excited. What else do I have? Okay, what's in this bag? This is my Tunisian. So this is my Tunisian Crochet Oceans cowl. Okay, sorry. So here I'm working on this. This is my Ocean Tunisian Crochet Cowl. It's going to be linked down below. It's by Nicole N. I don't know how to pronounce her last name. It is a free pattern on Ravelry. I am very, 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 very close to finishing the smock stitch section, and then I just need probably, I did like 3. Yeah, my bottom row is just 3 rows of ribbing. So I'll just do those 3 rows of ribbing and finish it. This should be finished next week. I am so close, so close. This is how much I have left of my second 50-gram hank of the yarn. I'm using Rowan Felted Tweed that I got from the Wool Warehouse. There you go. Is it going to focus? Oh, my hand's shaking. It's not going to focus. But anyway, I don't know if it's still available. It felt like when I bought it, it was kind of on clearance sale pricing. So, and I have not checked. What else do I have? I've got another bag sitting right here. Let's hop into it. This should be my husband's sock. This is, I'm making simple ribbed socks. It was a pattern I got as a P4A Project for Awesome perk a couple of years ago. I'm using this beautiful tonal green yarn. It's called Seaweed from Jelly Bean Yarns. And here's where I am. I am working the foot. I'm pretty close. I need to go for 8.5 inches for his foot size, and I am just about, so I'm not really flat. It's around 7 inches. So I've got about 1.5 inches to go before I start the toe on that. So good chance I'll be either completed or well into the toe for the next go around, but it doesn't feel like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Like that feels wrong on the length, but I think it's hitting the measurements that they want. I'm saying that because it has a 30 round cuff here, and I normally do 10 rounds of ribbing, then 10 rounds for a cuff when I make my own shorty socks, and I do that for a total of 11, which is 110 rounds total in the sock. And right now I'm only at 80, but yeah, something doesn't sound right number-wise, but it's working out with the ruler, so we go by the ruler, right? That's what we do. But yeah, I'm excited. He's excited. What I really want to do is get that off the needle so he can try it on, so he can see if I graded the instep properly. That's my big question. What else do I have? We're not talking about you. You are my Fabio sweater that I have not worked on yet again. So it's still at the, I've got a collar made. Not a collar. I've measured the yoke. We know what we're doing. I have to watch the rest of his video and move on. Okay. I did do a little bit of work on my MJ Off the Hook granny v-neck sweater. Like I said, I'm going to kind of put the brakes on this a little bit to focus on finishing a few other projects and focus on some of these sweaters I have on the hook and needles for June. I think we're making Thursday, which is a wearable. But here we go. I'm well into the body. And I'm actually, according to the pattern, nearly done with the body. I am going to have to try it on and see what length I want. In the pictures on her, it looks a bit cropped, and I'm not so into a cropped look, so I feel like I am going to have to add some extra rows to it for my own preferences, but we'll see. Who knows? And that's really it to show you. I did not do any more work on Bingo's Granny Square dress. I focused on making some review stuff for the Big Twist Rave yarn. So I'm trying to work on a review on that. But that's really all crafty goodness wise I have to share with you this week. So if you were only here for the crafty goodness, thank you for coming. I was glad to talk with you and let me know what you're working on and all that good stuff. If you want to talk books, hang on and we will talk about that shortly. And what book am I reading? I am currently reading Rogues still, which is the anthology by George R.R. Martin and Gardner D. So what did I do? I finished, when we talked last week, I had finished the Gillian Flynn short story, What Do You Do? I have read Matthew Hughes, The Inn of the Seven Blessings. That was interesting. I think I had started that last week and I thought it had kind of a low-key God character. Does not. But the rogue is not who you think it was. So there is that little twist. I thought it was a fun little book. I think it definitely fit in kind of a cozy fantasy historical fiction realm. But yeah, it was fun. The next one I read was Joe R. Lansdale. It's called just called Bent Twig. From reading the introduction, he has a series of books with these two characters, Hal and Leonard. If you're familiar with Joe R. Lansdale, I had not heard of him before, so I was not familiar with these characters. It wasn't my cup of tea story. I think it's kind of like two bounty hunter guys who go and try to right the wrongs and all that kind of stuff. It just wasn't really, it wasn't my cup of tea. I'm sure lots of people love him though, because he has wrote a ton of books, and the series with Hal and Leonard is pretty broad from what I read in the introduction. So I think they are well-loved characters by people who like his work, and that was probably a treat for those people to read it. Just like I'm looking forward to the Patrick Rothfuss book or short story later in the book, you know. I just started a new story by Michael Swanwick called Tawny Petticoats. It seems to be set in New Orleans, definitely in a historical fictional sense. I'm going to say with some fantasy elements in there. They're talking about these like zombie workers that they have, and it seems like there's some sort of drug or chemical that is affecting people that, you know, people are using to make these zombified workers. I'm not sure how to categorize that, because yeah, it's definitely fiction. I don't know if you call it fantasy, if you call it a bit science fiction-y. It definitely has there are con people. So far the three main characters that we've met are they're starting a con. I'm very early into the book, so I don't know too much about it. It started on page 142 and I am on page 148. So I'm mere 6 pages in. Not quite sure what to say about it. I will say, like, I didn't really enjoy the Bent Twig one, so near the end I was just kind of skimming, like, okay, surely this is going to wrap up, the good guys are going to win, what's going on? I found the content subject matter of Bent Twig distasteful, and that's probably another thing I didn't quite like about it. But that's okay. Not every book is going to be everyone's cup of tea, and if it were, wouldn't we all be so boring? I'll get into this one a little bit. It kind of has a old West saloon con man kind of feel at the beginning here. We'll see, but like I said, it's not Old West. It's set in New Orleans. But yeah, it has that kind of feeling to it. I'll be interested to see where it goes, and I'll be interested to see where the next stories take us. Like I said, it's fun to have a anthology that presents so many different genres, so you can kind of you know, get exposed to new authors maybe you wouldn't have known. And that means I'm not going to enjoy all of the books. And if there's ones that I really don't enjoy, I'll either skim them or skip them. That is my prerogative as a reader, and I will take advantage of that. But that's really all I have to say. Once I finish this book, I will read the next book in the ACOTAR series. I think I am up to Wings and Ruin. Is that the third book? I'm up to reading the third book. I believe it's Wings and Ruin. So yeah, I'll be interested to see that, and then go from there. The TBR list is always expanding. So definitely let me know, are there books out there that you have enjoyed and you think I might enjoy taking a look at? I am always happy to add them to my list. As with patterns, or if there's a yarn, not even a new yarn, if you're like, oh Erin, I really love this yarn and I don't really see you working with it, let me know. I do not want to be left behind. I will say, I am enjoying the review of the Rave. If you want a little sneak peek, if you are an Addy user, chef's kiss on that. It was fantastic. I did have a bit, the crocheting and hand knitting with it, I had some tougher spots, a little bit of splitting, a little bit of stuff. So we're going to see. I want to work out more of it and kind of really get my bearings on it. I did, when I first opened it, I compared it to Ferris wheel. And that, as I'm working with it and looking at it, and after I watched Heather from Heather the Crochet Witch open hers, it is scarfy. It's scarfy. Ferris wheel I don't have any on my shelf, but so Ferris wheel is kind of the multicolors, but it's like more colorful and more heavily plied than this is. My camera's yelling at me, but this is almost exactly like Scarfy, but thinner. Scarfy says it's a 5, but I think it plays like a 4. It's a little narrow. It's like a fat 4, thin 5. This is very well and squarely in the 4 realm. So if you love Scarfy, but you want a lighter, a thinner yarn, and if you don't want the wool content, this is 100% acrylic. So there you go. That's not all I'm going to say in the review. So I haven't spoiled the entire review. Heaven forbid I give you my pause before I complete the entire review. Okay, but as I said, the camera's mad at me, so I need to shut the mouth and get going. I will talk to you guys later. Bye!
Hi, I'm Bingo, and I'm Jumps.
What are we going to look at today, guys?
Today we're going to look at the plants. All the plants.
All the plants.
And if you have watched part 1, and if you've watched part 1, you've got a sneak peek.
Okay, so we have something we're going to put on Chomps' channel too. So what do we know what's in this pot?
I don't remember what's inside.
It hasn't.
You don't know what I'm talking about at all.
These are herbs, that's right. We have sage, basil, and rosemary.
Do we pick off the ribs?
We'll pick them off, but not right now. Okay, guys, I can't see in the pots if you walk right in front of the camera. Okay.
Zucchini.
Do you think that's a zucchini in there?
A single piece of zucchini.
Okay, and then bingo. Oh, we don't.
Yeah. Bingo.
There we go.
There we go.
We don't have anything sprouting here yet either.
Yeah.
And what's this one?
A sweet 100. Zucchini.
This is zucchini, we think.
Yeah.
But here we actually have sprouting zucchini. What? And then let's go over this way. What do we have here?
Tomato, that's more sweet 100.
I don't think this one's a sweet 100, baby. I don't know what that is, but that's not a sweet 100.
No, that
It's a tomato, but it's not a sweet 100. No, it has a different leaf bud. Look at the leaves. The plants look totally different. That's a sweet 100. And that's that one. See, this leaf is a little more spikier.
Yeah.
And that leave's more smoother. So that's a different type of tomato. This we know has beans in it, but that hasn't sprouted yet.
And these are my blueberries.
These are all of Bingo's blueberries.
And there's sandpaper inside this one, and which one's mine?
I think
in my hand,
that one's
paper.
Bingo. It's wildflower paper, and that one's Chomps's. We're not sprouting yet.
Yes. It's really no, mine only have one.
Okay.
My Huxley red cherry.
Husky red cherry.
And
We have
can
some flowers on this one.
Can you move the camera so they is 100%
Okay, I'll
true?
show it.
100% true. Oh,
So many tomatoes.
And 90.
We have this bed that isn't growing anything, but this
80.
one has
No.
Bingo's
Yeah.
watermelon in it.
Yeah. And
Then we
mine.
forgot what we put in here already.
Yep. Yeah.
And then we also have
A strawberry
a
sprouting.
strawberry. These are Chomsky strawberries he wanted to grow. We've got one good strawberry coming so far.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you guys.